Greetings everyone, welcome to this new video. Today we're going to talk about multi-modding. Multi-modding has been extremely profitable for me this league, both in selling and also increasing my damage, because chaos spamming or exalt spamming or meta crafting is extremely not good for new players or even experienced players like myself, because it takes 100 exalt to make a decent weapon, and then even then you might not get what you want. So why not make it safe? And you can get insane things this league with that. What I mean by that is, like, for example, this for this scepter for my winter orb character, all I'm looking for is one mod, and then I'm making it like this. And I'm gonna go through step by step how I'm making these items. As you can see, I have my gloves also multi-crafted, I have my ring also multi-crafted, and my shield also multi-crafted. I had better gear before this. I had to sell it all to sponsor my other builds, so now I just bought all this and meta crafted myself for just for a few exalted, honestly. And if you're gonna buy these items yourself of someone selling them, not multi-crafted, first of all, you cannot buy these exact ones, but even half the DPS you get from this, or utility, you're gonna pay double, at least double the price of these. So I'm highly, because crafting in this league is just so good. You seriously, it got so buffed in this 3.5 patch, the Betrayal League, so you would be stupid not to try this out and see. If you don't believe me, just put in one of these items in your path of building and you can see the result. So I'm gonna go through thing by thing, and we're gonna go through step by step through the whole thing, and you can see it yourself how it's done. This works for any kind of item. You can do it for Winter Orb, you can do it for any other build out there. It does not matter. It works the same way no matter what. I'm just going to use a scepter with multi-crafting to show you. So for step number one, I would definitely look out for what base I want to start out with. So if I want to craft a weapon, I just go to Path of Exile Gamepedia, and I will put this in the link in the description, and I will search on the item. So if I'm searching for a helm, I would put in helm here up in the corner, and if I search for a weapon, which am right now, I am gonna just go through this, and you can see the implicits, because the implicits are the most important thing when you're searching for a base. I'm gonna search for a scepter because it gives me increased elemental damage up to 40%. So that obviously, if I'm meta crafting, or sorry, if I'm multi-crafting, then I want the best one, because it's gonna cost you a few exalt. Why not just spring for the best quality then? It would be stupid not to. I know that these things are a little bit more expensive and damage penetration, but I've already put it into Path of Building, and I know that 40% increased elemental damage is better for my build than the penetration. So you can do this yourself or just use common sense. It's a little bit different, it's not much. So I know I'm gonna buy a scepter, so I'm clicking the scepter and hopefully it come up. Then I am gonna choose which one I'm gonna buy. So there's two of these, I believe. So there's one there, Opal Scepter and the Void Scepter. So we have chosen what we actually need. That was the first step. Now to the next. Step number two in this would be finding in on PoE affixes. There's plenty of these kind of sites, but I like this one. It's something I used on the first leagues that came out, so I'm continuing using it. We're gonna look at our one-hander. We're gonna use for a scepter because we already chosen that, or whatever you chose. If it's a helmet, you choose that one. So what do I want? Well, first of all, I want to look for a good mod. So you scan all of these, because we only look for one single mod. If you are gonna look for more, it's gonna be less of a percentage, which I'm gonna mention later on. But I would only start out looking for one mod you really want on your specific item. So I'm gonna go down because I already know what I'm looking for. I'm gonna look for the shaper and the real elder and stuff like that, I'm gonna look for gain elemental damage extra chaos damage, because all that elemental damage from a winter orb, and that means all the lightning, all the cold, all the fire I have in my build get pushed in to up to 20% here, as you can see, and we are gonna get that 20%. So that means it says here eye level 85. So we already chosen here from the previous list, we have chosen a Void Scepter or an Opal Scepter. That's what we want. And we have chosen that we need an eye level 85 Shaper one, because it's only a Shaper prefix. That takes us to the next step, step number 3. In step number 3, we're gonna move away from these sites and go into the official GCC site. You can also use the PoE trade ones, it does not really matter. I just like this one because it's their official one and it's more nice to click in. It's just less scrolling because the other one has so much scrolling in it. So what am I looking for? Well, let's start with the Opal one. Opal Scepter, there we go. We want item, we don't need an item category, we could put it in, but we already have a scepter in the text. Any non-unique, because we want a rare one. And what else do we want? We want item level. We wanted 85 because he said here only 85 will give us what we want here. That means, and we want it to be shaper based because again it's a shaper item we need for to roll that specific mod we want. So yes, and we want it non-corrupted. You don't need to click this, you just need to look out for it, but it's always good to click that in. Let's see here if I missed something. Hopefully I did not. It's always something you miss in these. So here you go. A base right now for Opal Scepter is 3 Exalted, which is pretty, because it's a really high item level and it's a very in demand kind of item, so it's gonna cost a little bit. So depending on how popular your build is, and if it's a helmet for example, the best one, it's not gonna be expensive, but this is. So it's gonna be 3 Exalted. We can also check what was it, Void Scepter, copy, and we can put in Void Scepter here instead. See if it's any better price on that one. Free again. It does not matter which one of these you buy. Honestly, it does a little bit, because here there's someone already done it for us, so we could save ourselves the trouble to alteration, which I'm gonna show in a couple of steps. But I'm just gonna, for the video sake, I think we can get away with under half Exalted to craft it anyway. So I'm gonna buy one of these bases and get that back to you in a moment. So for step 4, we're gonna go to the next, and it's gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna put it here in our crafting window, and we're just gonna scour it down to its original state. As you can see on the background, we have a shaper item. It's all like this, and if it's like this in the background, as you can see on my ring, it's an elder item. So make sure it has this shimmering background if you want that on your specific item. So what are we doing? Yes, we're gonna put an Orbo's transmutation to make it magical, and then we are gonna do alt spamming. So you're gonna need a couple of these alterations. So you're gonna just hit this until you hit this desired mod. We wanna have, if you can look back here, we wanna hit at least 16 of elemental damage, extra chaos damage. We don't care if it's not 20, we can divine that up later. So we're just gonna hit this one all the way until we see it. It does not take very long. Usually, it normally takes me 100 or 200 of these to make it happen, sometimes less, sometimes more. So I'm gonna get back to you later. Well, that took me 10 from 10 alterations, and it's a perfect roll. So now we have a magical item. Magical items cannot be multi-modded. It can be modded with one craft only. So this is the hard part. We need to regal it. First, we need to regal it. So as you can see, we only want to gain 20% of elemental damage, or 16 or upwards. And then we're gonna regal it like this. We have got 17 cost speed, which is, we only want one of these mods, so we need to get them away. So we don't need the increased mana regeneration rate. That is a hard word for me. Increased cost speed, we don't want that. So how do we get rid of them? Well, we have these ones, which I probably need to buy a few more for to make this video, because now when we're gonna do this, we're gonna orb annulment on this, which means it's gonna take away one of these. That means I have 1 in 3 chance of getting one of the right one off. That means I'm gonna need to do it twice. That is 66% chance of bricking it. What I mean with bricking it is destroying it, and I have to start all over. So these are a little bit expensive. Normally you can be lucky and just gain 20% elemental damage or extra chaos damage before you regal it, which means that you have a 50-50 shot of making it, which is obviously the way you want it. But like a mod like this, I was a little bit lucky with the alterations. Normally it takes 50 to 100. It's just tedious work, and like anything in this game, time is money. So you want to do this fast and get into mapping again. So I'm gonna buy some orb of annulment and then get back to you. So I managed to lose all my recordings. I didn't lose all my recordings, but I lost all my mic volume. I have no idea what went wrong. So I'm just gonna do it from here. I already finished crafting this one before I noticed it, so I bought a new one. So all we do is regal and we get another mod, and as you can see here, I already had the gain 20% elemental damage, that's extra chaos damage. And now we take an annul orb here to get that pesky one out. So we have 50-50. And we are lucky, thank God, because I already spent like 6 exalt already, or 9 now. So now when we have a base here, we're gonna go to the next step. So this step, we're gonna go over to our crafting bench and actually start using the crafting bench finally. And normally this process only take me like 5 minutes, but because I'm making a video, it takes a little bit longer to explain everything. So we are gonna use this magical mod. I think it's from Pale Quartz or something like that. You have to look it up. We can look it up in a moment. So all you're gonna do is can have multiple crafted modifiers. That means we're gonna craft it on here. It's 2 exalted. It's definitely worth the 2 exalted. Trust me on this, especially if you use it on a weapon like mine. And it's definitely worth it if you have all the best mods like this. So now if we hit Alt, we can see that can have multiple crafted modifiers. It's a suffix, and the gain 20% of elemental damage as an extra chaos damage is a prefix. At any point here, you might want to start divining up your weapon. You can also see that here. Gonna start divining, but we already have the maximum roll. I normally do this before I put on the crafted mods. It does not matter if you do it before or after. Honestly, it's your preference. If you get bad mods, or if you're like at 19 here instead of 20, does not matter that much. I obviously want to min-max, so I have all the best. So as you can see here, if I put it in, it shows me only the ones that I can craft on this, and I can craft 2 prefixes and 2 suffixes on this weapon, because there's 6 mods to be had on any item, or any rare item that is, and we have 2 at this moment, and it's a suffix and a prefix, so 2 of each. So which one are we gonna choose? That I'm gonna choose in the gonna show you in the next step. So we are at the next step, and we are gonna choose which mods we're actually gonna put in. So we need 4 different mods to put in: 2 prefixes and 2 sorry, 2 prefixes and 2 suffixes. Why I changed fingers there, I have no idea. So we're gonna choose ones, and we're gonna have a one-handed. Same thing here. I'm gonna put this link in the description. One-handed melee weapon. Melee weapon. One hand. What is wrong here? One hand. Oh, one hand melee. I put it in. That means that all one-hand melee weapons mods that I can possibly craft is right here. Why I'm not using this directly on my crafting bench is because I do not know if I have all the mods. You might not know, and if so, do I know that my, for example, this one is the highest mod that it could possibly be? I already know some of these, so you can scroll through these slowly, and if you click the little bit exclamation point here, or the eye, yeah, it's an eye. You can see if it's a suffix or a prefix, and it also tells you over here if it's it also tells you if it's veiled or yeah, here it tells you if it's veiled or if you get it at a specific point in the game, like the pale court one for multi-modding. So we're gonna scroll down and just look around, but I already know which one I'm going for. I'm going for 2 mods that have non-chaos damage, and we're gonna go for not a 2-handed melee, because be sure to look so you don't confuse them. One-handed melee, and as you can see here, they go a little bit lower here. Gain 6% of non-chaos damage, extra chaos damage. Again, super good mod. It's multiplicative with your damage, so it takes all your damage and just push it into chaos damage, or 6% of it. And we're also gonna take this one. I don't have this one, so I'm just gonna go and show you here. We're gonna have going to search here and I know I have this one. This is the highest rank, as we saw on the site, 6%. Yes, we're gonna craft that one on there. This is a prefix. That means we have 1 prefix left, and we're gonna leave that for this one. But I do not have the max roll on this one. It's 10 to 11%. So I'm gonna have someone craft it for me. I can recommend someone here. Here, and I used him on my first item I used here. Oh no, he's not online. He just went offline. Let's see here. Here, this guy. I recommend him. I used him over 20 times this league, and I used him for a bunch of different items. He has not scammed me, and he has his own forum thread with other things also going for him. As you can see, what you need craft, it's his name here in the game. So he obviously knows what he's talking about, or when he has a forum thread with a lot of vouchers and stuff like that. I can vouch for him. He will not scam you. You'll probably pay 40 chaos to get it crafted. So you trade him the 40C, you trade him the material needed for the craft, and you trade him your item. He will then take that all and then give it back to you. Only the item though, with the craft. So completely safe. We also gonna do I don't know, arcane search. I know this is the best one here, so we're gonna craft this one, and I'm gonna double damage. This one is a little bit more expensive, but I'm gonna have this one anyway. Hopefully a 7. Yes, it was a 7. And then finally we're gonna have that final one that I need help from. So we're gonna wait a little bit, or I might just show you the other one. So see you. So like a good cooking show, like the old times where they had already preheated something or pre-cooked something in the show, like here, I had this one, and magical, voila, I have this one also, which I had in my previous video, but I could not, you could not hear me, so I had to re-record everything. Anyway, I've put in everything in. Something to think about is when I hit Alt on this one, it shows me all the mods, and as you can see, I have 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. And with that said, you want to be sure here, because I've seen people be really annoyed by this, is you see the bottom one there, gain 16% of non-chaos damage, extra chaos damage. It actually stacks all together because 2 of the mods are the same. It's the 6% and the 10% there. Together it becomes 16%. So when I let go of Alt, they are smashed together. So be sure that it's not that you lost a mod, it just gets put together for simplicity. Otherwise it will be stacked. It would just be cluttered. So GGG actually did it right. They put it in different. But if you want to see them all, just hit Alt and you will see here. You can go into the options, I believe, and click Advanced Tooltip. Yeah, it's pretty much done. If you have at this point not divined, I would highly suggest you divine. So if let's say you have 16%, gain 16% of elemental damage, extra chaos damage, I would throw a few divines at it, so I at least get close to my 20%. If you really want to gamble at this point, you can use one orb of annulment and try to annul that can have multiple crafted modifiers. Why would I do this? Well, it's basically a dead mod. It's a dead suffix, and there's a lot of suffixes that are much better than that one. So you can try to annul that one and then slam it with an exalted orb, because you cannot craft anymore because you already have crafted mods. So I did that one of my items. Obviously it has a really super low, it has 1 in 6 chance of actually hitting the right mod. If it hits any of the crafted, you can just recraft it and try again. It's not recommended. If you have a lot and if you really want to min-max the build, you can. Because even if you slam it again, it's not 100% sure it's gonna hit anything useful. It might just hit mana or something like that. It is useless for most builds. Or stun recovery or something like that. So, this was everything. Now we have a functioning scepter. I just prefer mine because I don't need to cast my cold snap and frostbomb, because I have trigger success spell on use on skill. It can be used every 5 seconds, so every 5 seconds I use a skill, it releases those. Much quality of life. Same with this one. Chance to gain arcane surge when you kill an enemy, quality of life. You can do it yourself, but the more buttons you have to click during a boss fight or Uber Elder or something, yeah, it's not gonna happen. I mean, you're gonna die a few times unless you're really good at this game. So why not make it easier for yourself and just have some quality of life? So one in this hand, one in the other. Yeah, so if you have any questions or anything about this, just leave a comment, or if there's something else you wanna put into my videos, then please tell me so if I need to edit something in this video also. Thank you for watching.